Think about all the user personas in your enterprise. You might have workforce users, contractors, partners, subsidiaries, affiliates. All those different user personas, when they come together to access a single application, it's very likely that they're going to have different policies, different identity providers, different identity systems that need to work together in that shared services application. That's how you know that you have a shared service application when all those different personas are coming together in a single application through different identity providers, through different identity services. That's when you have an interesting application that falls under that shared service application definition. In an organization, you'll probably see shared service applications existing anywhere where there's boundary between business units. If we're talking workforce, it could be interdepartmental. It could be a B2C use case, but the customer is actually a subsidiary or a partner that needs to access your applications. Shared service applications are all over the place, but wherever you are working with different units, different organizations, different companies, you're going to have a need to share work, share data, share applications. When you do try to set up that proper zero trust environment without service accounts, you're going to encounter organizations and identity providers that have inconsistent authentication and MFA experiences. So users might not have their device registered in a way that it receives an appropriate multi-factor authentication. Some organizations still rely on SMS or other less secure forms of two-factor. They're also fairly brittle to integrate with. To orchestrate these policies and authentication experiences across organizations, that usually means having to write intricate integrations that allow the application itself to in some way orchestrate access. And as requirements change, as user bases change, it can be very easy to break that integration or even just maintain it. When you have a shared service application that can't consume modern authentication protocols like SAML or OIDC, you might end up with an application where you have to build very bespoke security practices around MFA, around passwordless. And the only alternative you have to that is accepting that application as an audit risk. It's about putting that shared service application, its cybersecurity, and its ability to consume authentication protocols, put it on the same footing as the rest of your organization. Observability and control of shared services is probably one of the largest pain points, right? Because observability isn't unified. There is no single control point. It lives in the individual identity providers, the individual directories of the different organizations that are coming into that shared service application. Audit's very concerned about those shared service applications. They're one of the most heavily controlled and audited type of applications in an enterprise, simplifying how users enter those applications and reducing the complexity of integrating to those applications is going to make that whole experience more secure, more observable, easier to audit. It's going to save you time, save you operational expense, maintenance costs, and give you that ability to have single sign-on and that observability that you need to control access to those apps. Identity orchestration allows for a single control point, a single pane of glass for observability to your users' sessions, tokens, assertions, and authentication patterns. Strata gives you a place where you can take the events that you might see in a SIEM or a SIEM and then actually do something with them. You can send those events into that control plane and then take action on user sessions, on policies that might control how a user session changes over time, not just at the moment of authentication, but in real time. That ability to have observability and control over your users' authentication experiences, authentication sessions from cradle to grave, the orchestrator has the ability to manage those sessions, manage those identities down to those services at runtime. If you're dealing with identity fragmentation, if you're dealing with applications that don't have support for modern identity protocols, and you need to bring all of those applications under a single set of policies, a single set of authentication flows, what you need is Strata Identity's orchestrator.